and gentlemen, welcome to my channel and welcome to my channel. What you are seeing right now is a rendition of what I would see through my Aomway Commander goggles or any other Fat Shark style goggles, until I managed to find a solution to this double vision, otherwise known as horizontal diplopia. I realized that for most people the IPD adjustment usually takes care of it, but I've tried quite a few different goggles to no avail, so I decided to modify my Aomway Commanders, as I was getting a little tired of using my 2-year-old EV800D box goggles. So here we have the IPD monitor slider seats, and this one is the right slider seat. And now what we'll do is we'll simply screw in the tightening knob until we get a firm grip. And if you just loosen a little bit, you can position the IPD adjuster. We loosen the knob a little, and there you can see it moving in and out. And you can also adjust the inclination, so you can turn it a little bit inwards up to 5 degrees. And this is what solves the double vision. And I realized I only needed a couple of degrees on both sides, and I was fine. So this side has already been adjusted for. I think it has about 2 degrees. So both sliders are pointing inwards. Here we have the PCB spacer, ever so tiny, just making sure that holes are lined up. And we glue it onto the PCB support, drill some holes, and now we can position the PCB support. Will just slide in place. I haven't used any glue as there was no need. It fits perfectly and has quite a firm grip. So now we can position our bottom PCB and the monitors onto their respective seats. Be extra careful with the flat cables. Now the flat cables are extremely delicate, so you want to use a pair of tweezers to reposition those properly inside, and then very gently with your fingers you basically squeeze in the black plastic piece. This is another flat cable. Once it's inside, just press down and it locks in place. And you can do the same thing on the other side. As you can see, I've already done it. Everything's looking good. Now here we have the spacers, and I've actually printed 2 thicknesses, 2.2 millimeters and 2.5 millimeter. And for me, the 2.2 millimeter spacer was perfect. So what I did is I just put a little bit of CA glue, just a dab, just enough, because maybe you might need to replace it, so you don't want to put too much glue. And then you can help yourself with the tweezers to position it in place as such. Do one side, just let it sit there a couple of seconds till it dries. And then we work on the other side. Now what I haven't shown you here is the actual monitors have been stripped of the supports that were there before, those were removed with a Dremel. So now we can put our support back in place. I mean our spacer. All right, everything's looking good. And once you've closed the case, now you can actually position your slider and monitor. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, the monitors were actually glued in place with epoxy glue, 5-minute epoxy glue. If you want to try this modification and you have access to a 3D printer and a slicer, you can actually download the STL files for all these parts in the link in the description below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a message in the comments. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. I look forward to hear from you. Take care. Ciao.